Hi everyone, welcome back, or welcome for the first time. So we are reacting to another Sananda song, and the song is called Penelope, and this was requested by Deeper Dive, so thank you so much. And this is the remastered version, I believe, but let's go for it.
Please. I'm 17, under the illusion a girl like you could, in my confusion, Penelope, please. Penelope, please. My jeans are not big enough to hold me, so come on, girl. Don't you try and scold me, Penelope, please. Penelope, please. You will still be home in time to watch the pops featuring Chrissy Hine. I know you see me as an aggravation. I dream of you in full moon frustration. Penelope, please. Penelope, please. Don't make me wait, answer with affection. So come on, girl, look in my direction. Penelope, please. Penelope, please. You will still be home in time to watch the pops featuring Chrissy Hine. I know you view me as a major horror, but come on, babe, don't say sayonara. Penelope, please. Penelope, please. My head is hard, so girl, I will continue to plead and beg, baby, till I win you. Penelope, please. Penelope, please. You will still be home in time to watch the pops featuring Chrissy Hine. La la. At 21, I came to this conclusion. I married her, but still I'm in confusion. Penelope, please. Come on, babe.
No,
Penelope, please.
no.
Penelope, please.
Look, you're gonna wake the baby.
Penelope, please.
No!
Wow, that was really good. That was so different to the other ones that I've listened to of his, because I think the other ones that I listened to, they were off the same album, so maybe there's like a similarity. But even then, within each song that I listened to, even on the same album, they've all been very different. But this one, I'm intrigued to see. It's called Penelope, please, not just Penelope. I'm really intrigued to see what year this was actually released, because I think the Vibrator album was released 98, I believe. So yeah, I'm just intrigued to see what year difference this is. Okay, so this is earlier. So this was released 93, and then let me just double check that the Vibrator album was released after. Let's see, where is it? Oh, okay, no, 95. Okay, I thought it was 98. So it's 95, but still after. So not long after, only like a few years after. But that's interesting to see the evolution of him in such a short amount of time. I guess 2 years. If you're working on your craft continuously and very like, you know, no, you're working on your craft every single day for 2 years, and you definitely would shift and things would change, and you discover, I guess, more about your artistry, more about your abilities. And this definitely has a different vibe. Obviously, his Vibrator album was a lot more soul. There was a lot more soul elements in there, and there was also rock elements. But there is those elements in this as well. But I don't know what genre I would call this. Like, is it kind of, I don't know why I said rock, like rock and roll, but is that even like a genre? Yeah, it's kind of difficult to pinpoint with him what genre. You can't really put him in a box. So it's obviously on his Symphony or Damn album. Okay, Sunshine Pop. Yeah, because I put rock and roll and pop as well. Yeah, and it's operatic themes, definitely. I definitely saw there was operatic themes to it, especially at this point when there was like a shift, when I would say this would be like the bridge of the song.
I'll continue to plead and beg, baby, till I win you. Penelope, please. Penelope, please. You will still be home in time. As the pops featuring Chrissy Hynde. La la.
Spin.
At 21, I gave
And then it goes back. Yeah, it's definitely pop. I don't know why I said rock and roll, but I don't know. Maybe there's just elements in there. But yeah, pop, Sunshine Pop. Da, 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 da. It's very like light and like the things. But then there's a lot of elements in there that not a lot actually. There's not that many elements in there of the soulfulness that he brings. There's like a few ad libs here and there where he brings that soulful that I've heard him to be in the later album that I've done reactions to, and that deep dive you've requested. And I'm noticing a bit of a different style to him, and how like the pop sort of side of it, which is so cool. Like I love how he's very versatile and doesn't really put himself in a box, because he's able to experiment with different sounds and different genres, and just you can tell that he's had such an influence. I've said this before in the other reactions, that he has such an influence. He embraces all the influences that he may have had and all the different sounds that he may have listened to and been exposed to, and that's what I really like about him. And yeah, definitely the operatic themes. I always like in his songs, there's a lot of yes, this is kind of mainly sunshine pop type of vibe, but there's elements in there that he does where he switches it up, like in the bridge bit where he's adding those operatic. It's quite operatic and sort of the instruments and the grandness of the operas and what's included in that, obviously with the operatic voice, but also with the instruments and the way that it kind of like reaches a crescendo and then kind of like drops back into that pop. So I do love that he always experiments, and his stuff is very, very experimental, and I think that's really cool. Like yeah, it's so good. Yeah, and it's very different to his other ones, which is always nice to see. Like, it's always nice to see the difference in him and how he, like I said, experiments with different sounds. And let's have a little look at the lyrics before I kind of dive into the context, because I want to see what I bring, what comes to my mind as opposed to just reading from the context. So, I'm 17 and under the illusion a girl like you could end my confusion. Penelope, please, my jeans are not big enough to hold me. So come on, girl, don't you try to scold me. You still be home in time to watch the pops featuring Chrissy Hynde. I know you see me as an aggravation. I dream of you in full moon frustration. Ooh. That's a really cool lyric, that is. Wow. Because, people say, obviously, when it's full moon and the moon affects people's emotions and affects, like, the spiritual side and astronomy, and I kind of like that he's brought that in. And especially when it's, like, talking about illusion and confusion, the full moon in spirituality is all about sort of, obviously, if you're talking about it in terms of like tarot and like that kind of stuff, like the moon on in the tarot cards has the significance of like hidden secrets and something's about to reveal itself. But then obviously the moon has a lot of connotations that you could liken it to. But obviously in this case he's likening it to the full moon being a source of frustration, or it's like, but it's not. It's a what's that poetic technique? Full moon frustration. There is a poetic technique used there, and I've forgotten it. But just that use there, it's very. I always notice in his songwriting, he's very talented in the way he uses words and the way he uses like metaphors and adjectives and how he personifies things. Like he uses a lot of different techniques in his writing, which is very poetic and very like literature based. So I really like that. Don't make me wait, but answer with affection. So come on, girl, look in my direction. You will still be home in time. So it's interesting. It's kind of like there's this innocence to it, because you'll still be home to watch the Pops featuring Chrissy Hind. What is that? Because this is a reference that I don't think I'm gonna understand. What is this? Oh, Top of the Pops. Okay. I would know that reference actually. Pops, just like it's like he shortened it. Okay. I know you view me as a major horror, but come on, babe, don't say sayonara. Penelope, please. My head is hard, so girl, I will continue to plead and beg. So yeah, I'm getting like he's 17, and it's like I think he's just like. It's this desperation and this sort of crush that you get. Crushes when you're like young and 17 or like under 18, or just when you're young. They become quite like. They become a bit overwhelming. They kind of like dominate you and they just become overwhelming. It's like this infatuation that just becomes like, as when you're a kid, you're like, oh my God, like it just becomes over the top. When you're a child, you kind of become very infatuated and you're just kind of all sense is lost type thing. And I feel like he demonstrates that really well, like Penelope, please. And then the popness of it, like it's kind of very like light and childish and sort of light and stuff, but then underneath it there's this sort of, I don't want to say it's not like the darker side, but it's just that kind of more lustful sort of obsessive side of it that is quite interesting to look at it in contrast with the lightness and of the song and the way in which it's made in the production of it and stuff like that. So I like that contrast there. But there's all these levels of innocence. It's like you'll still be home in time to watch this. All these kind of things, and it's all these references. It's quite childlike, but also very like, it's really interesting the way he's written this. Really unique. At 21, at the end, so it says, at 21, I came to this conclusion. I married her, but still I'm in confusion. That's interesting. So it's almost like, at 17, he was like so infatuated with this girl. And now that he's actually with her and he's married her, he's kind of like, I'm still in this confusion. Like, was that just attraction that was based on sort of obsession and not actually genuine? So let's have a look back at the context and see, because it did say something about it. I'm intrigued to know. So the song is a jangly, upbeat, sunshine pop style song that contrasts with the heavier themes of the rest of the album. Interesting. Okay, so the rest of this album is also a bit heavier. And I was going to say also that heavier note is demonstrated a little bit in the operatic bit of the song. It's only very short though, isn't it? The bridge bit, where it adds that kind of like dramaticness with the opera and like the instruments. And then it goes back into that kind of lightheartedness, which is interesting. So the lyrics tell the story of a 17-year-old boy experiencing the confusion, infatuated emotions of young love, exactly, singing lines like, I'm 17 and under the illusion, a girl like you could end my confusion. But it's interesting how it goes back to say, now I'm 21 and like the confusion's still there, which is interesting. So unlike the dramatic and R&B elements of his earlier work. Oh wow, so even his work before 93, before this album, before Vibrator were more R&B. This track leans into a breezy melodic 60s influenced pop aesthetic. Yeah. Really interesting. Yeah, this is so refreshing. I feel like every time I listen to him, he just gives me something different to look into and to know about him in terms of an artist and stuff. So it was like, yeah, and it's very different. And the harmonies in this were really nice, like the drum pattern and the harmonies. Yes, it was that sort of pop vibe, but there was definitely, it wasn't like just pop. There was definitely elements in there that he uses to experiment, which I always like that. I like the harmonies and stuff. It was giving very, Queen vibes with those kind of, those harmonies that were in there. And then that kind of tone of his voice that I love about his voice sort of comes through every now and then, but most of the part is quite light and sort of, da, 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 which is really interesting, really refreshing. So yeah, thank you so much, Super Dives, for requesting this. I really like this one. Yeah, another one of his that I'm enjoying. I enjoyed listening to. Yeah, so if anybody else has a request, there is a link in the description to send those over. And if you like the vibe that I create, feel free to like and subscribe. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Until next time. Bye.